Hi everybody, my name is Flore and I'm here to show you what I've done for Future Music Mag and the sample challenge. So let's check it out. So maybe we can start listening to the track actually. So, this track, first started manipulating this vinyl break sample, and I've actually used another software called, I need to restart it. Where it is? It's here. Archizer. It's a very funny software in which you can load a sample and manipulate the same way you would do if you had an Ikai sampler. And I really like it because when you heavily time stretch the sample, the texture is really different from the warp in Ableton Live. And you can really find this very old school kind of time stretching I really like, and I don't have an Ikai sampler, so I couldn't do that. So I've actually loaded this vinyl break sample in it, and I've time stretched it like 600%, so it's like huge time stretched setting, and I've also pitch shifted. So I ended up having something like this. So if I just turn off the reverb, if we listen from here, this is the result. After that, what I've done is that I've doubled the same track, and I've just changed the. If you look at this, at the clip, the audio clip, I've changed the transpose setting, so it's like 12 semitone higher than the original clip. And I've also, if you look here, I haven't used exactly the same sections at the same moment. You'll understand why after. And regarding treatment, yeah, on this second track, I've used this reverb I really like. which is Valhalla Shimmer. And yeah, it's like heavily reverbed. And so the result, it is like this. It's quite impressive. Because my first idea when I started the track is I wanted to manipulate a sample and to make it like really, really different. And so the idea was to use this vinyl break sample, which is a drum sample, and make it sound like a pad. I don't know why, but it was my idea when I started using these samples. And so, and I've put them in the same group. And on this group, I have a chain of effect. Nothing really exceptional. I've used this Sonalxis Uber compressor, which I really like because it's a really hardcore compressor. And yeah, you can really destroy the sound if you want. And I've also used this Fab filter, this reverb from Fab filter. Here it is. Really nice reverb. I mainly use this one and the convolution reverb on my tracks. I really like them both. And with that, I've EQ'd before and after, and just compressed, because what I wanted is that I wanted to sidechain this whole group with the sub bass. So this sub bass, it's the only synth I've used from my own collection. It's a rack. I haven't done it myself, to be totally honest. It's something I've found on the internet, but I just don't remember where. But it sounds quite good. And so it emulates an 808 bass. And yeah, I've just tweaked a little bit the settings here. I think, except that there's nothing else I haven't done anything on it. The only thing I've done is that I've doubled the track. I mean, this one is a MIDI track, this one is an audio track, so I've routed the audio inside. I mean, this one goes to the master, but this audio track takes the audio from this one. And I've added some distortion and a filter delay because I wanted to have something more crunchy. So if I listen to them both, so this is the 808 bass. Quite subby. I really like it. But I wanted something like more with more texture in the medium range. So I've doubled it like this. And I like the fact that, yeah, because there's the filter delay, it also repeats the signal. And with the whole, the other drums element, I thought it was adding a bit more grit to it. Yeah, I kept it like this. After that, what I've done is that, I have to say that, this is from my own collection. And then I've created a drum rack using the samples from the collection I had from Future Music Mag, sorry. And I've used the kick, the 808 kick. There's no treatment on it. It's straight from the drum rack. It's actually the only MIDI note I've recorded in this clip. And after that, what I've done, when I've done this time stretching with the vinyl breaks sample using the Acaiser, I've bounced it in two different tonality. This one is less 19 semitone, and I've done another one with +5. So I've actually loaded the result and sliced it into a drum rack. So if we listen to it, like just to show you, it sounded like this. So yeah, it's a bit noisy because there's erosion and there's also a saturation on the drum group, but you have an idea. So it's like the same sample with on a different tonality, and I've sliced it, and I'm only playing the same note than the kick drum. So they are actually playing the same note at the same moment. But so I have a bit more surprise and randomness. I've used on top of that a MIDI plugin called Random, which means that with this button, I have 25% chance that it will trigger another MIDI note than the one which is recorded in the clip. So it means that 75% of the time it plays the correct sound affiliated to the MIDI note, but sometimes it can play another note which is on top. And so because it's a drum rack with different slides, you can see that if I play it, and we can listen to it, I'm going to play it with the kick drum actually. So you see here that sometimes it plays the notes which are inside the MIDI clip, and sometimes it goes and plays other notes. I really like this MIDI device for this kind of randomness. I really like it. And I've done a little reverb, auto filter, and erosion. I love this device from Ableton Live. It had some noise on the sample, and sometimes it's something I use quite often when there's a sound which is too much inside the mix down of the track, and I wanted to bring it a bit front, and it had some noise, so it makes it more, it's like some kind of distortion in fact, and so it brings it, you can hear it better. And I've added a compressor, so every time this kick plays, this samples, the volume of this sample go down a little bit, so it creates some kind of movement, and that's what I wanted to make. Then I've wanted to add a drum loop, so I've used this drum loop from the library, so it was this one, and I've actually used a very short part of the sample, and it sounds like this. So if I switch off, this is the loop I've used, and so I'm gonna turn it on back, and I've used this rack with the kick on another MIDI track, and this time I'm only playing the shaker here, and this shaker is playing the same kind of groove than the drum loop. I wanted to do that because I wanted to add some grit to the groove, and it's also because this drum loop, as you can see, I've filtered it, and so it means that all the highs are they are not playing. So it's something I wanted to add on the top of the loop. So if I listen to the whole drum group, it sounds like this. And if I had the bass, so to create this very distorted and metallic sound, I've used an effect track from Sound Toys. Here it is. And so it's actually a combination of different effects from Sound Toys inside the same box. And actually I've just messed with the preset. And I really enjoyed this one because I wanted some distortion. I'm quite obsessed by distortion at the moment. So yeah, and so yeah, I think that all the elements except the kick, but the vinyl break rack and the drum loop and this little rack with only this sample, the synth ping, which is in the one-shot pack. It's this one. I've loaded it inside a simpler and played it in a very different tonality, and I've had Redux to change the resolution, and autofilter again, and then a convolution reverb pro, mainly for the automation because I wanted the sample to arrive in the mix like like from far to closer. So if you look at the automation here, you can see that when it appears, it's like 100% inside the reverb, and it goes down, so we have the feeling that the sound is closer to us, and it goes along and it goes with an automation on the volume as well. And on the drum group, so yeah, everything is compressed, is the side chained by the bass, because I wanted this like heavy kick, like heavy bass, smashing everything. I don't know why, so yeah, that's how I did it. And the final touch is from this sample, so it's Birdsong. You can find it. Yeah, it was in loops. So this one, I really like field recording, so I wanted to use it. And actually, I first looped it, like I kept the whole length of the sample and just looped it inside Ableton Live. But I wanted to destroy a little bit, so it was not like you couldn't really hear if it was a bird or something else. So I've used this grain delay plugin you can find in Ableton, and what I've done is that I've used this Max for Live device, LFO. So I could as you can see, there's two parameters, so spray and random pitch here, and this LFO is actually moving the amount of effect on these two parameters, so it changed the sound all the time. And I've done the same kind of process with another LFO on a reverb, which is the standard reverb from Ableton Live, and this LFO is manipulating the decay time and the dry wet. So because I wanted something, I didn't want it to be static the whole time. I wanted it to disappear sometimes and to come back, so that's why I've used this setting. And I've just cut the low range. So yeah, that's actually what I've done with this track. So usually I don't put anything on the master, but because I wanted something like very heavily compressed, I've used two plugins on the master. One is Neutral Elements, and I've actually I've just used the track assistant because I wanted to go fast, to be totally honest. And after that, I've added this limiter I really like. I really like this one because it's very transparent, the TDR limiter. And just to add a little bit of drive and a little bit of limiter on the top. But yeah, that's it. I think I will finish this track because there are some ideas I quite enjoy and I want to go further. And for example, now I can go out from the sample challenge limitation. I would like to double this pad I've created with this drum sample and the Valhalla shimmer, and to double it with another synth following the same melody, but so the pad is even bigger and with more precision into the melody. So I think I would do something like that. And I have an idea also of another drum beat, another drum sample I would like to add on this track. So yeah, maybe you'll see it finished in the next couple of months. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned, discovered a couple of things, and see you next time. Bye.